Hey, welcome back, Big Brains. We are starting to look at problem solving today. So let's head into the mathnasium. All right, sometimes when we get to problems, we think that those problems are too big and too difficult. So the thing to think about as we start today is, what is something you've done in your life that you were not sure you were going to be able to do? You can answer that in the space provided or out loud. I'll wait. All right, well, that brain booster is meant to get you thinking about how sometimes we think things are just too big, but there's just a few steps we can take, and we can take large problems and make them solvable. So here's what you need to know or remember for this lesson. When you're solving with a model or a bar, be clear first off about the things you know and what you don't know. What are you given? What are you trying to solve? Also, be sure to pay attention to the values and what the values you are given represent. And then always keep in mind, if you can find out the value for one unit, you can solve the entire model. So let's see what this looks like in action. All right, in our first example, there are 4 boys that are sharing a certain amount of money. And we're told that the first receives 1/6, the second receives 1/4, the third a half. If the 4th boy gets $5, how much was that money? All right, so we are going to draw ourselves a bar model to represent the money. And we need to know how many units are going to be inside of this. Well, the first boy gets a 6th, the second boy a 4th, the third boy 1/2. So we need a common multiple of 6, 4, and 2. Well, a hack when you're trying to find the least common multiple of 3 numbers is take the largest number and go through its multiples. So if we take 6, can't divide 6 by 4. The next multiple of 6 is 12, which we can divide by 4 and 2. So our bar model is going to have 12 units. So we need to convert the amount given to each boy into 12ths. Well, 1/6 of 12 is 2, 1/4 of 12 is 3, and 1/2 of 12 is 6. So boy 1 gets 2 units. Boy 2 will get 3 units. And boy 3 gets 6 units. That leaves us just 1 unit, and we're told that the 4th boy gets $5. So 1 unit is $5. And we know that the entire sum is 12 units. So if 1 unit is 5, 12 units is $60. So we write out our complete sentence. The sum of the money shared was $60. Let's look at one more example. Jillian inherits some money from her great aunt Edna. Jillian spends 1/3 of the money on a shopping spree and donates 1/4 of the remainder to the Humane Society. After the donation, she still has $354 left. How much did she inherit from Aunt Edna, and what fraction of her money did she donate to the Humane Society? All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our bar model to represent how much money Jillian inherited. And we're told that she spent 1/3 of it, and then she donates 1/4 of the remainder. So the initial breakdown of the inheritance is into thirds, and the first third she spent. Next, we're told that she donates 1/4 of the remainder. So now we're talking about the 2 units that we haven't done anything to. So we need to break those 2 units down into fourths. Now we can do that one of 2 ways. We could just break it down in the 2 units, but we also want to just be in the habit of doing drop down. So if I break this down into what's remaining, she donates this portion. And then we're told she still has $354 left. So these 3 units are $354. If 3 units are $354, then 1 unit would be 100, and 54 divided by 3 is 18. So each one of these units is 118. Which means that the 4 units together are 472. So if we bring this 472, as we're going back up, you now have 2 units is 472, which means 1 unit is 236, and the entire inheritance is 3 units. So I would have 690 with 18, I'd have 708. That was just 236 times 3. So the inheritance that Jillian received was $708. The second question says, well, what did she donate? What fraction did she donate? Well, she donated 1 unit, which is 118, out of her 708. So now we just need to reduce this. Well, they're both even numbers. So we're going to end up with 59 out of 354. Now the fraction 59 out of 354 does not look very friendly. Well, 59 is a prime number, so the only way we could reduce this is if 59 is a factor of 354, and it turns out you can fit 6 59s into 354, so this reduces down to 1/6. So Jillian donated 1/6 of her inheritance. That is going to do it for our first lesson on problem solving with bar models. As always, if you have any questions at all, email me. And otherwise, I look forward to joining you on our next math adventure.